As a young kid, I grew up in southern Louisiana, and we used to come to Pensacola every year to go camping out at Fort Pickens. And you know, those tall pine trees, and you walk around and all of them are like this. They've just been snapped.
People living on Florida's panhandle could be just about 48 hours away from a hurricane.
It's expected to make landfall as a Category 3 as
150 mile-per-hour winds. That is 7 miles shy of being a Cat 5.
I am ultimately responsible for the entire rebuild of the installation. I knew if I took this on that it was going to be very intense, but ultimately, you know, I felt like this is what I needed to be doing. Initially, get here, meet the people, meet the wing commander, meet his team, meet the folks that had been kind of the first responders, and then really just get a lay of the land of what's happening and to start thinking about how do we move forward and coming up with that plan. Let's think about this. You know, $3 billion of military construction. Thankfully, we're not going to try to do all of it at one time. At one time, we thought that was going to be what was going to happen, but we are going to be able to phase it some, but it's still going to be a lot of construction. You know, it's interesting. Initially, people thought, oh, you know, 95% of the base was destroyed. Well, not really that bad. And then as we went through the master planning process, thought about, okay, what do we want to do in terms of those facilities that we can preserve and repair? Do we keep them with the same operation and function, or do we put a different function in there? We're bringing the F-35s here, 3 squadrons. The first aircraft is supposed to be here the 1st of October 2023. So there are some minimal facilities that we've got to have in place. We've got to have hangar, maintenance facilities, squad ops facilities. We're going to ultimately have, you know, that times 3. The F-35 has the ALIS, Autonomic Logistics Information System. That system allows the plane to effectively talk to the crew on the ground to say, hey, by the way, when I land, I'm going to need you to check out. I mean, I'm not a flyer and I don't know the aircraft parts, but you know, maybe the hydraulics for the landing gear. There seems to be something that's off with that. I foresee having a technician on the flight line with an iPad or a tablet. The technician hits a couple of buttons, and that sends a signal to the warehouse. And you know, kind of like Amazon with their little robots that, you know, bring parts to a spot, and then you stick it on a drone or you stick it on an autonomous vehicle, and it goes out and it meets the technician at the flight line. Our intent is to build a 21st century digitally integrated installation, really one that can be a model for other bases as they move forward. As bases look at recapitalization, as they look at new construction, we hope that they will look to Tyndall and look at what we've done here to follow suit. You know, senior leadership, they're very much pushing, we need to be willing to try something and have it not work out. We've got to be willing to do that. And that is at the very highest levels. Some of the folks that are sort of at the boots on the ground working level, they're still pretty nervous about, are they serious? Are they really not going to fire me if I fail? My attitude is, you've got to try. I mean, you have to try and push the envelope. And yes, sometimes things are not going to work out like you thought they were going to work out. But that's where you've got to have the fortitude to say, okay, that didn't work like I had planned it to work. Let's back up for a second and think about it, and what do we need to do to pivot to get to where we need to go? You know, who else gets to do this? I was honored and humbled that my peers in the engineering community in the Air Force were confident enough in my abilities that they asked me to do this. And I mean, heck, it's exciting. When else does somebody almost get to start from scratch with a base that comes along really once in a lifetime?